Go.
See, that would have been right cool. See, this is cool right now, you know?
Yep. Well, anyways, so here we are on this lovely day. We're about to start this new podcast. I go by AK on the beat, and I will have my co-host CI.
What's going on, man? What's going on? CI, baby.
Yeah, that's what's up. So, anyways, we got this shit going on, man. We're just gonna be talking about random ass shit. Nothing in particular. Random things that pop up in the world. Like fucking shit can happen at any moment.
Like how random though?
Like fucking
like rats inside burgers? Random or
shit.
Does Donald Trump dye his hair?
Random. Hey man, anything is possible. Some Bermuda Triangle type of shit.
I think when he tans everything. He tans his hair, tans his face. It's a spray kind.
It's like his whole body thing. It's part of his body. He has to get it done too.
What's clever though and impressive is he has not spilled anything on his suits.
That's true. I haven't really been paying attention though too much. I don't know. Politics is kind of joke to me nowadays. It's like a big fucking circus.
It's crazy, man, because I'm like, I try to be neutral with everything. Not neutral, just like hear everybody's perspective on that.
Yeah.
And it's like you become an enemy, you know, like, well, you don't believe on any sides, then, you know, if you're not with us, you're against us type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, in all reality, when it comes to politics, AK, like, you know, I feel like there's a little bit of every party that I like. It's not like one whole entire party that I like, you know?
That's kind of true. I feel the same way.
You know, I feel like, you know, you're at least from my background, you know, you're born poor, so you want some type of help, you know, because you're trying to get on to the next level.
Yep.
You know, and after you've you gone to the level where you're able to support yourself, now you want to protect your investments. So I can see a transformation from Democrat to Republican, you know, but I don't just agree with that because they're so like, when you're wholeheartedly Republican, you have this soldier mentality of like, it could only be Republican, and this is the way things always were.
Yeah.
You can't challenge a mentality. And my thing is like, you got to upgrade, man.
Yeah, you got to change. You got to evolve as you grow.
You know, when I read about Newton's law, you know, someone had referred that Newton's law works in only certain circumstances. You know, inside a black hole, all laws, you know, break down. Some people didn't want to believe that because it's like you're so caught up with one way.
Yeah, they don't want to adapt to change.
Flat Earth theory before it actually came back. I can't believe that made a comeback.
So where are we? Where does it stand with that shit right now? The flat Earth theory.
Well, you know what? Again, I always try to hear. So I'm like, okay, with the people that believe in it, what are they saying? What's their argument? Their argument apparently has to do with the moon landings and the pictures being fake.
Possibility.
So, you know, and because of it, they feel, well, you know, we've never really seen the outside of the Earth. I'm like, that's a good question, and that's a good rhetorical question. But, you know, obviously by shadows and the way the Earth's rotation is, and we have tools to measure depth.
Yeah, I mean, with the technology we have nowadays.
Yeah, so to me, I'm like, okay, you know, apparently there's a battle, a challenge. I don't know. It has to do with what's, you know, when I hear the arguments like, oh, well, you've been programmed one way, you should unprogram. Well, you know, I've always had the choice to program myself. You know, I've always been the person to, if you teach me something, I will challenge it. I will listen to it, you know, and if it's true for a little bit and it changes in other circumstances, then I'm okay with upgrading my mentality and like, you know, this is a new way of thinking. You got to accept the difference, you know. They thought diabetes was directly, you know, associated with sugar, but it actually has to do with fats. So we just upgraded our mentality.
Diabetes.
Yeah, we upgraded our mentality. It's not like, oh, you know, there's people like, oh, we never know what we're talking about. You know, we're always changing things. I'm like, no, we're just always upgrading. We're learning.
Yeah, dude, everything changes. Yeah. It goes in cycles, you know.
So I'm not prideful of like a Republican, you know, like I'm not like I have to be this way. I guess there's Democrats that are the same way, but for some reason, me being I guess on the lower income side, I side more with people that relate to me. But I've also related with people away from me, you know, people with money, people more above me, you know, and it's like, oh man, I'm on that route, you know, I'm trying to build myself, I'm trying to get on the next level, but I'm not trying to screw people over. I'm not trying to go and like massively dominate people. I just want to be an individual, want to be independent, and I want to, I'll contribute my part to society because obviously we live together, But
Yeah,
the
that's
whole
true.
thing is, I think when it comes to politics, it's that pride, that chauvinist attitude. It's nope. I don't know anything other than Republican. I can't be, you know,
Can't think no other
yeah.
way.
If
There's
you
no other way.
and if you're Democratic, damn, I'm like, dude. If you're a Republican and you're looking at Democrats, you're like, oh man, they're like, if you read against about this, this political party, it's so bad, and they represent. I'm like, man, people don't make choices like that. They don't
Yeah.
make them that complicated. They make it very simple. They're like, hey, some people do if you want to make it, I guess. But majority of people that I know, they're just like, look, man, I just need help with the government. I'm gonna vote for this guy. They're not thinking,
Yeah.
oh, this political party came from this background and it means this thing. No, they don't think like that.
Hey, but you know what? This year was kind of speaking on that fact that because they're basing it off of what they need, what they hear from these candidates, like Hillary Clinton, for example. She was saying things like, she pretty much sided with every type of race at one point of her career, with every type of whether you're gay or straight or whatever. She used to be against it, and then she was with it. She's always just said what the people wanted to hear, and to me, that's problematic. It
Right.
seems like this time around, the people caught on to her bullshit, and they made this huge change to fucking vote for some other joke. But I mean, this last election was kind of I think a new one for everyone.
Right.
It's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
crazy, man.
Because you know what it was, man, is people kept telling themselves, this guy can't be elected.
There's no way.
There's no way he's an actor. He's
apprentice.
he's
You're
a
fired.
yeah, or he's a reality show host, or I'm like, well, obviously I was one of those people. I was one of the people that I'm like, I don't think the government is that unserious, or I don't think they're gonna allow that, but they did. And I'm like, it was very interesting to me as much as it was interesting to a lot of people. Now, I mean, like when I entered, or I'm not. It's weird to say because I like to admit, I'm not 100% on all politics, but the politics that people like to refer to as everything obviously affects you.
Yeah.
So if money's being affected to you, then you're more familiar with that side. If taxes is affecting you, then you're more familiar with that form of politics. There's people that are obviously politicians they're informed with everything. And since I'm not a politician, I'm a person that's trying to see things from other perspectives,
Yeah.
and I'm being affected, and I was affected in many ways, financially, home,
Yeah, I mean,
my place to
everyone gets
stay,
affected.
job wise, and obviously try to move on, try to move on to the next level, which I've had, and it took some guidance, and it took some help, not necessarily always from the government, from people, and I feel like if people thought more like that, they'd be able to help each other out. But obviously, I guess to some people, the great thing about America is you have choice. So if you want to be
Yep.
stingy, you're allowed to be stingy. That's one thing in America. There's no law against being selfish.
There isn't.
Because if
Look at the corporate side of
Yeah.
America. That's how they get rich.
yeah,
They have to be selfish.
now I learned about like communism. Like in theory, it sounds good. It's supposed to be all equal, but in reality, it doesn't work that way because of that reason. Because some people are selfish, some people are more giving. There's always a level, so it doesn't always play into effect. Now, I'm definitely not a communist, and I don't believe in communism. But that's
No,
what
I'm not laughing at
Oh,
this.
oh, oh yeah, we got the baby in the background.
It's like,
This is, by the way, to our listeners, this is our very first podcast. We're trying this out.
testing the waters.
So we're just kind of throwing random facts. It's eventually going to lead to why we started this podcast to begin with.
Yeah, man,
but,
just to have fun. Just talk about random shit. Sometimes you just gotta vent.
So yeah. So this is a starting point.
Build some fucking talking points out of it. You never know.
And as a listener, you're gonna do two things, three things actually. Either you're gonna try to connect, you're gonna try to refute, or you're gonna remain neutral.
Yeah, leave a comment. Let us know. Let us know what's up.
But yeah, there's no law against being selfish, man. So like when I heard that, I always tell people like, oh, we should all be equal. We gotta all have, but it doesn't
Equal
sound right.
rights
Yeah,
for everyone.
because if everybody got paid the same for doing different jobs, that's communism. I'm like, well, yeah, I don't think that's fair, man. So I guess I can't agree with people being fair, but fairly as in like, okay, well, if you work hard, you're gonna get more money and you're gonna get more. But if you stop working hard, you're gonna get less money and you're gonna get less pay. I think that's fair if everybody
Yeah,
got treated the same way too. You know, that to me that's fairness.
yeah, that is.
And that's kind of how it works, in that aspect. So yeah, I do feel like there's got to be some form of fairness, but at the same time, I don't believe that the whole communist thing where we're all should just own everything and give everything for free and everything's earned, man. I mean, nothing's for free. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, but everything is earned.
Yeah, I mean, it's all comes from some type of resource.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it evolves some type
Right.
of something to get money out of, you know.
So like I said, I want to help be able to help people out, and but not like it doesn't always have to be money, it doesn't
Yeah.
always have to be that instinct, or that feeling of just because money's involved, you can give it in other ways. You can hook me up with a slice of pizza, or maybe I'll go wash your car, wash your car another time. That's a form of bartering, but
Yeah.
it could mean money too. It doesn't have to. I'm just saying it doesn't just have to be that. To me, everything has to be earned,
Yeah.
and that's the type of society I feel a lot of people can agree with because no one wants to be babysitting. We're all taught that we got to pull our own weight. We're all taught that I guess for the most part, you try to help people out. I like to help people out. I feel like a lot of people have become like every man for themselves nowadays,
That's true.
especially with this year,
But
man.
you kind of have to be in a way, man.
In a way,
And-
man.
And
in a way.
I can speak on that a little bit because
Right.
I can honestly say I don't have a lot of like close friends. You know, I'm very individual type of person, and I've also been into my career for like the last 11 years, and that's kind of put me in a position now. I feel because I was selfish and I was only focusing on myself, not really caring about girls, not really caring, what my actions would be of however I was acting at the time. Like it's just I felt like I had to be selfish to get where I'm at though. Like whether it's the way I think, the way I am,
Right.
it's because of those things that I've done that it's made me who I am. And that's the only reason why I say that's why I feel like I've been selfish because of that. So, I mean, what the fuck were we talking about?
Oh, we
I'm
were just
like-
because
I'm like,
we're
why
talking about
selfish?
politics and like we're talking about like communism.
Oh, and having
because,
to be selfish to
Yeah,
to
to an
advance
yeah.
or to
right.
yeah, man. Like sometimes I feel like you have to, or else you tend to care about everyone, and then what happens?
And you're totally right, man. You're totally right because I realize that in every form of progression, because we're not 100% always on that progress. Maybe some people, but not everybody's always on the 100%. Like I'm always 100% progressing.
Yeah, you
So
get through
you
little
get
patches,
you go
hard times.
you reach your goal, and then after you reach your goal, some people stay at like a little like, okay, man, I'm calm right now, and you reach
Yeah.
another goal.
Yeah,
There's always that plateau, and then you go reach another one. You have that plateau, and you
Yeah.
reach another one. So like what I'm trying to get to is like I've had the moments where I'm in focus mode, where I'm progressing, and I have to be, like I said, be selfish. I gotta push
Mhm.
people aside. I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go after mine.
Even if it's your girl.
So yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like,
Or
that's like
sometimes you sacrifice within yourself too. And I've seen people, they sacrifice their own life, not like killing wise. I'm talking about like their
Like
home
their own health or what?
or anything like that. Their home, their money, their time from people.
oh, okay.
Like that, just like you said, you're their girl, whatever.
yeah, I mean, family, kids.
Yeah, maybe they have another job and they're gonna push that aside to help this side out. Whatever. Um, but what kept me going though, man, is I had that guidance. That guidance is to me is a form of help.
Where that guidance come from?
Just like random, either my older brother, random friends, some friends like because I had kicked it with a lot of gangsters, man. I never got involved in gangs, but
You
I've
felt like they're your family.
in a way because the reason I kicked it with a lot of them is not because I wasn't trying to get involved in the bullshit.
Yeah.
I was always a new student. I never really had friends, but I tried to connect with people that had similar backgrounds to me, and for some reason, a lot of these dudes had similar backgrounds. Now they made different choices than I did. They chose to do their thing, but I never judged any of them. I never. As soon as I knew one of them was from a certain hood or whatever, I'm like, cool, man. That's your business.
Yeah.
But I would connect with them on a personal level. You know, I don't go after the BS because as soon as someone hears a certain label from someone, you shut yourself down or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not that person, you know. So I listen to the background. I just connected with a lot of them, and there's some homies, man, that I've met that are older homies that they gave me some of those guidance, man. Like push further, man. Don't get involved with this kind of lifestyle. You know, my older brother, some of his homies, you know, and that pushed me to get on to the next level and do better, man. And then what did it help me do? It helped that's a help, right? That obviously allowed me to progress because it's all about progression that you were saying about being selfish. So
Yeah.
in a way, that's that helped me want to help other people at a state that I was previously at to get them to their goal because eventually those people are going to be selfish to focus on their stuff, you know. So you give them the guidance, and that's where I believe like I like to help out people in manners like that. If I can give
kind of like mentor.
yeah, if someone's down on a job, man, you know, here's a couple of bucks, man. Now don't. That's the thing is like, where's the limit? You know, like don't expect me to be babysitting you, man, and trying to like wipe your ass. You know, like all of us still get. That. But you know, obviously we all have a rough patch. You know, you hook up the people at that moment, and you wait for them to get up. You know, and then once they're up, you cut off whatever you were doing. You allow them to be their own person. But
you don't want to be their enabler.
Yeah.
Like be the reason why. You know, they're fucking up essentially.
Yeah, because you know, even when it comes to like when you're at an artist, you know what I mean, they're like have a bigger icon, and you're like, you're always helping out people, and the day you choose not to help out, they focus on the stuff that you're not doing, you know. It was like now it's expected, man. Everything's always have to come out of your heart. It's gotta be when you want to. Now I know that sounds selfish, but that's the real deal.
Yeah.
You know, you help out when you feel like it, but now when you're doing it because other people expect it. And we're back. What is up, AK on the beat?
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. With this podcast, we're gonna call it AK on the air.
I gotta leave it barely in.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Typical.
It's got a headphone jack that's only puts the tip in.
It's a headphone jack that goes into an adapter that goes into the. I think it's like a 8mm or something.
Yeah.
No, I forget. I'm not all techie like that. I just know
So,
where
since
to connect shit.
I am your co-host, your whole host.
You're my whole coast.
Oh man,
yeah,
I'm dumb.
The whole coast.
Since I'm your co-host,
doing all kinds of shit.
I'm gonna give you some questions, you know, so your listeners get listen to you. So, not to sound weird, but we're gonna introduce it like it's fresh. But all right, what's your name, man? Give you your actual name.
Oh, my actual name.
Oh, if you want to give your actual name, you just want to keep it at AK.
Nah, you know what? My fucking Facebook, everybody knows it by now. So my name's Andy Moreno Ortega. That's my name.
And you go by?
But I go by AK on the beat.
And why do you go by that?
Funny you asked that. You know, I just love AK-47s. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, everybody figured it immediately. They heard AK and like, AK-47.
That's the only way, right? AK. But nah, actually, man, if you know the definition of AK, stands for Alaska, and that's actually where I was born. So I was born and I was raised there till I was about 12 years old, and then we moved to Cali, and that's when the young AK came alive.
Okay. And it worked into part because in Cali, you know, you show off a gun. It's like, I feel that shit. And that's from any perspective, man.
Kind of just worked out.
People are very on their Second Amendment right here, man. You know.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Which
I guess that's a lot of other people, but here too, you know.
I need to start exercising my right.
I know, man.
The way this shit's going.
So you know, like, I'm not gonna get too much on the whole gun topic either. I'm just gonna talk about how I like guns. You know, I'm not gonna say what you know what the hell.
We should go shooting.
I'm down.
Where have you ever been?
You know what, man? I've shot a couple shotguns. I've shot a AR. I've shot a Beretta, Glock, and 22. Little 22.
Some gangster shit right there.
It's cool. You know, I know a lot of people, especially right before the California gun law passed. Everybody got their ARs, man. So you know, I was like taking advantage of that.
So you can actually go buy one of those.
Now if you get one, you have to have a bullet button, so it limits your amount of ammo.
What?
Yeah, but from certain sources, it says you can modify certain things.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
You know,
Because I'm gonna have to get some shit soon.
Nah, but either way, I was thinking, I was debating between a shotty or a handgun.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I want to have one for home defense.
I've only shot a handgun, though, so I haven't shot a shotty yet. I hear it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, man, I shot like the regular slugs, and then someone gave me like one of those big old slugs that just hurt my shoulder.
Yeah.
With the
Did
same
you
gun,
dislocate it?
Not dislocated, but it hurt though. You know, you feel that push, and people that obviously know about guns, know what I'm talking about. And I'm sure in their head they're like, "Oh, you ain't felt nothing yet." I'm sure,
Nothing yet,
but I felt something that time from my first time.
I can only imagine, dude. I gotta
It's
start
cool.
working out for
It's
that
cool.
shit.
It's like it's a cool feeling, man. If you want to start off soft, you can go with paintball guns.
I haven't even done that. I've been wanting to go.
Man, I loved it. That was cool. That's cool. Like to, I don't know, you connect. You want to get some anger out. GTA this.
No, definitely. I would definitely want to try that, man. When was the last time you went?
I'm trying to think. Paintballing, you talking about?
Yeah, paintball.
Yeah, probably like a year.
And
ago.
then the other one.
Year or for paintball is a year or 2 years.
Okay.
I went for my birthday, and then I went for a homie's birthday.
Nice.
As for real shooting, I didn't shoot for my last. It was last year. Because once a year, me and the homies we go camping, and everybody takes their guns out.
Nice, cool.
So yeah, it was pretty cool, man. You should definitely try it, man. It's like a different sensation. And
I want to.
Bang in your hand. One thing is dealing with firecrackers because you throw them, or like it's away from you, but this is like in your hand. It's just a louder bang. It's a louder bang.
Yeah, definitely, man. So what else are we gonna talk about here? We got guns. We're all good on guns. We got that shit covered.
Music, man. Let's talk about music. Like, see, what's your style? Like, what did you start with? How did you even get into rap or hip hop? What was the
story?
Like 5 years old, 6 years old.
You know what's funny? I didn't really like hip hop when I first heard it.
Really?
When I first heard it when I was little, and I mean, think about it. I was in Alaska. I grew up mainly on like alternative rock. Like I used to watch MTV a lot, and at the time I was into Limp Bizkit and like Kid Rock. Yeah, dude. Like, so I mean, I was
during Linkin Park's ages, huh?
Nah, it was before that.
By the way, rest in peace.
No, of course.
To Mr.
Chester
Bennington.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I actually saw that guy in fucking Six Flags one time.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a good story though.
No.
It doesn't help his case.
Oh man, it's not. Let's leave him at a good image, man. Yeah. Let's leave him at a good image. But anyway,
it's crazy.
Back to the hip hop. So it's during Limp Bizkit and.
But yeah, man. So I grew up on those kind of groups. So, and I used to actually. My brother, he did have a Puff Daddy and Family CD.
Mm.
So I used to listen to those songs a lot too. And you know what, dude? Now that I think about it, hip hop was always in the mix, but I didn't really pay attention to it too much.
Right.
I didn't really I enjoyed more of like the rock and stuff. So like that's what kind of made like I would just move. I guess my attention was just towards like
it
Kid
grabs
Rock.
Your attention.
Yeah, it grabbed my attention. Like, I used to listen to Ba with the Ba, the Bang Dang Diggy Diggy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That song, that shit was kind of crazy. Yeah, man. Like, so that kind of what got me started on that shit. And then fucking Puff Daddy, I guess one of the first hip hop guys I was listening to.
Puff Daddy, the P.
Puff
Diddy.
Daddy. I knew him as Puff Daddy.
He was still dating J-Lo?
That was before. Yeah, dude. This was before.
Back in the days.
Him and Biggie were coming out with shit. They had Puff Daddy in the family. Okay. It was like Mace, Puff, fucking Biggie.
I got into the first P. Diddy song was my cousin listened to. I think it was called Señorita. It goes, Mommy, can't you see? Or
that must be like some of his newer shit.
No, I think it's he's speaking it from the girl's point. He goes, Papi, can't you see? I wanna be your señorita.
That must be some new shit, huh?
Nah, that's
P. Diddy.
Oh man, that's like, I think that's old, man. That's like what my older cousins were listening to. That's the first song I heard, and then I heard I'll Be Missing You. You know, that's after
I'll be
Puff
missing
or
you.
Biggie Biggie's death. You know.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, I used to listen to that song a lot too. I don't know. It like sounded sad. I don't know why I would be sad at the time. I was a
So
pretty happy kid.
you know, one thing is listening. What motivated you to actually get into music?
Into music, well, so I moved to California when I was 12, 13, sixth grade, about to start sixth grade in Whittier. I went to Dexter Middle School in Whittier, California. So just fucking seventh grade, or in the summer from sixth to seventh, I was working so like summer jobs with my uncle, like building like porches and shit in
Right.
Big Bear. And I just wanted to buy a guitar. Like I just got it in me, like I want a guitar. So I saved up from that summer. I bought a guitar,
And that was it.
and that's what got me into music. You know, I started playing like just guitar like every fucking day. I learned how to play myself. Like no one ever taught me shit. Well, my uncle first initially was showing me stuff in Alaska, like how to hold it, how to play guitar tones, like chords. So like I already understood that stuff. So when I moved here, I just kind of looked it up online. At that time, internet was big now. So I started looking shit up like guitar tabs and stuff, learn how to play other bands and stuff.
Right. Right.
And it just went from there, man. I started playing all kinds of shit. Seventh grade, I did my talent, the talent show for school. At seventh grade, I did that.
What kind of talent show would you do?
We were in a
So
band.
Ice Baby or what?
Nah, we were in a band. I was playing guitar. We had two guitar players, a bass and a drummer, and I was one of the guitar players. And we did a 3-song like mix song.
You were the bass player.
I was a guitar player.
Oh, guitar player.
Yeah, I was playing rhythm though.
What? How were you guys dressing?
Just all in black. I had a black Dickies shirt on,
Oh, okay.
like the polo, or not the polo, but like the button up shirt,
Okay.
like the old school looking ones with like black Dickies shorts. You know, I was all gothed out, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
for
I was gonna
being
say.
seventh grader.
I started catching that image. You know, I'm thinking like Chester kind of wore stuff like that. You know, like that Dickies, but he wore more of the khaki.
I was more into like Corn at that time.
Corn. Okay.
Yeah, Corn. I was heavy into.
Yeah, that's why that makes sense too.
So that's kind of what drove my attire, because they wore a lot of Dickies.
Yeah.
You know, and so yeah, dude. Like seventh grade, I did that shit, and then eighth grade, I did Battle of the Bands. Like they actually did something new. And it was Battle of the Bands. And I tried out for it. We did a bunch of covers for songs like Godsmack, and we did like Corn, and what other bands did we do? Like a couple old school ones like AC/DC, Fade, like some Metallica. So we just kind of did a couple mixes, and we ended up winning. We ended up fucking winning. Yeah.
You guys got all the respect.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, like around that time, like I think that's when my game went up 10% for sure. That was like an instant 25%.
What does that mean?
To
like
my game.
They started sitting at lunch next to you, like closer to you.
I was just always
just
kicking
kidding.
it with some girls at that point.
They're like, you know what? We're 10 feet away. We'll sit 5 feet away now. You know.
But it was cool, dude, because I was from Alaska. I was like a stupid ass looking nerd growing up from 6th to 8th grade.
Probably still wearing the earmuffs, huh? And like, nah, they're headphones, man. They're headphones. Yeah.
The headphone covers. But so yeah, man, 8th grade, I won the Battle of the Bands, and it was pretty cool, man. So fucking that kind of drove me to keep pushing for music. Then I joined high school, and that's kind of when I flipped genres, and I started listening to way more hip hop. Once I like started getting more into like other activities and shit.
Right.
But yeah, dude. Need some water. But yeah.
It's right there, like
10 getting dry here.
10 inches away from you right there. Here we go. There we go. Hey, you can only drink so much, man. We're in a drought right now.
But yeah, dude. So
are we still in the drought? I haven't heard anything.
Nah, we've been out. You didn't hear?
I heard Northern California was out. I didn't hear Southern California was out.
From what last time it rained like crazy, like apparently that got us out.
So we're like probably barely over the edge, huh?
So it looks like we should be good in the green.
I hope it got people to do better habits. You know, just don't let the water run and stuff like that. You know, it's cool to just not that I know it sounds very liberal to some people. You know, I'm just like
some people
but at
think
least try to like save for other people and try to save something. Whatever. If you need extra, go. Just don't let that shit just run and you just like playing video games and that shit just running and shit. You know, whatever you fucking need to use it. You know.
No, I hear ya. I mean, some people think like, well, I pay it, so it doesn't matter. You know, I pay my share.
Yeah. Exactly.
If I let it run, I know I'm wasting it, but I'm paying for it.
Obviously, it's not a short-term effect; it's a long-term effect, and some people don't give a fuck about that. You know.
But see,
are we cussing in this podcast?
Yeah, this is a podcast.
Okay, no. All right, cool. You say fuck shit balls.
Fuck shit balls.
We don't have to do the Alaska thing and put earmuffs on.
No, dude, no earmuffs. It's an all-go thing with raw, no condom type of shit.
Man, so like, check this out. Like, okay, my brother was always into like the hip, like the gangster shit. You know, Dub C, Ice Cube, Brother Lynch. All the West Coast rappers. You know, so Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre for sure. You know, so I grew up with that style. My sister was always into like that hard rock, punk, classic rock. My mom was into classic rock / oldies.
What kind of oldies? Like always and forever?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she like Marvin Gaye. She like the Temptations.
Jackson 5.
Dion, and
Can I get with my cookies?
And the Belmonts, I think. And just any of that style. I love. Yeah, man, I love that, and I appreciate that. So to me, those are like classics. So when you hear those get remade into like hip hop, some people say it ruins it. Sometimes I think it's just different. It's not that it ruins the original, but
what do you think about that new Carlos Santana remix by DJ Khaled?
I just heard it today. Barely today.
What? Burley? What'd you think about it?
I was like, is this a new Carlos Santana? But it's a remix, huh?
Yeah, it's a remix.
Okay.
DJ Khaled has touched it.
I think I don't know. It brought me back a memory, and I felt it had some. It was a retro thing because everything's retro now, man. It's a little bit of modern with some old school, you know. Yeah.
I don't like it, man.
You don't like it? No. You feel like it ruins the original thing, huh? You got that pride for the original thing?
That's Carlos Santana.
Yeah,
man.
you know. Hey, when we're talking about upgrading our image, sometimes we get prideful. You know, I'm also a victim of that, man. We're human. You know?
I guess I appreciate
some flaws.
I'm sure he's gonna get paid out of that shit big time.
Right.
You know, it's not. I guess
there's certain remixes that I thought were better. There's certain remixes that I feel like should have never been done. I guess I go case by case, and it's just all your perspective. You know, it's not a right or wrong. You know, which one I thought was really good was a Love Song by 311. Completely different genre, but it was originally by The Cure.
Oh yeah. Oh okay, yeah. So I'm over here thinking like they wrote that shit.
No, exactly. Because it was good. It was that good. No one even mentioned, and I'm not even dissing The Cure. They did their own thing, man.
They're both good versions.
Yeah, but that's the one I related to the most, and I was like, oh,
but see,
cool.
It would be different if it was like a rock band, and then a remix is done by another rock band, because you're almost identical. You're almost identical, because you're both all playing instruments, you know. But then this fucking DJ Khaled comes in and just throws his name after every fucking beat. Or after every fucking 4 bars.
You don't like that?
Dude, it's not his beat. No, he's fucking like...
Okay, so what about Aerosmith and Eminem when he did the song Scene for the Moment? He made that great, didn't he?
Who?
Eminem.
But that's an original song.
No, that's not Eminem's original song. That's Aerosmith singing on the hook.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Yeah, but he made it great.
I think but see...
like I said, it just goes case by case, man.
But you're comparing 2 different types of artists. You're comparing...
you told me, it'd be okay if it was two of the similar rap, because it's all that. And then you brought up DJ Khaled, you have one guy who plays guitar and one guy who plays hip-hop. And then same thing, Aerosmith is not hip-hop. Aerosmith is rock. And we're talking about a hip-hop
He kind of is, because he came out with that song with Run DMC.
And then what about I'm just saying majority of
he has love for hip hop.
Yeah, but I'm just saying majority of his music is obviously Carlos Santana has love for hip hop too. You know?
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I mean, he did that song Maria Maria.
Right. So like I said, I just go case by case. Some people can accomplish it more than others.
You're right. I shouldn't be hating.
No, dude. Like I said, I'm not gonna force you to like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But
I like it now, motherfucker. I fucking love that shit.
I'm sure there's people that like it and people that don't like it,
Downloading
you
it
know.
right now.
And you're allowed to have your reasons, you know, and why you're allowed to have that, you know. That was just been my perspective
I'll give it
on my
another
part.
listen. I'll give it another
It's okay.
listen.
It's a cool man. It's just about, you know, I'm not gonna sit there like it's the top of the line, but it was cool. It was cool.
I guess it gets the girls going. You know.
I guess that's all that matters to some people.
I guess it is.
But yeah, man, from my hip hop background, like it was that, and then I actually went through a phase where I got into punk and rock because my sister really got me into it, and
Like
it was
rancid.
yeah, and I don't know why everything was so segregated, like especially in my schools, and I went to so many different schools, man. I went to 12 different elementary schools, 7 different middle schools, and 3 different high schools. My parents just moved and moved and moved.
Wow.
So I didn't
And
have.
why was that? Because they just
Well,
like the rent was too high.
no,
They
no,
kept
no.
raising it.
If
you don't mind me
no,
asking.
it's fine. That's fine. A lot of it was always different reasons, man.
Because you grew up in Cali, right?
I grew up in Cali.
So
man.
like that's why I'm trying to find out because I didn't grow up here.
Oh, okay.
So like
Yeah,
I'm hearing the perspective from someone that's lived here all his life.
Okay, yeah. Well, look, I lived here in Cali for I think I was born. I'm originally from Los Angeles. I was born in Maywood, and
Maywood.
yeah,
I haven't been there.
I lived out there for about seven years, and then I moved out. I'm sorry, did I? Was it 7 years? No, it was about 4 or 5 years, and you know I was 4 or 5, and then we moved to Cudahy. We moved to Whittier. I lived in Bellflower, you know, city of Bell.
You lived in Whittier too, you
I
said?
lived in Whittier too.
Where by? You remember?
No, I don't, man.
You were that young?
Yeah, I was really young, and then I just remember just like hearing the names all the time because I have an aunt, you know, that lived there, and you know, like, oh yeah, she lives in Whittier, you know. So you always knew the cities that we lived in, just never knew exactly. I'd have to ask my mom. She knows all the locations. Every time I ask her, she's like, oh yeah, first in this and blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, cool. And then after moving around in LA, I moved to Colorado for about a year, and then you know that didn't work out too much. It's just, you know, and I came back to Cali, and then moved to Miami for about 3 years.
Miami.
Yeah, and we had a back and forth thing. We actually moved to California because my mom didn't like it. She ended up moving back. She's like, all right, give it a second chance. Moved back because she had an argument with my dad's family. They didn't get along too much, and gave it one more chance, and then that's it. We ended up going moving back to Cali because my pops was to get a job transfer, but it took in Stockton though.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. That was the last time I seen him, and we just ended up just staying there. And then we moved down, you know, to back down south to OC in Anaheim. I lived with my uncle there. You know, I was already 16 by that age. But point being, I moved a lot. It had a lot to do with like my mom not being happy with a certain location, she's just getting tired of it, and my dad be like, "Whatever you want, I'll give it to you," you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it was like that, and they fought all the time. It was not like, to me, I was like, "Why didn't even get married?" You know, without getting too much into my personal life. But that took a toll. That's what I'm saying. That point just takes a toll, which then took a toll on us as me and my siblings. You know.
Well, because the one thing I'm noticing since I've been living here is I don't know, like I just noticed that the rate of like separation and kids raising with single parents.
Oh yeah, it's really high. It's definitely a high, man. And
never seen anything
and not
like
just
that
Cali,
in my life.
man. You got that's why like I relate from people in New York. I related to people in
Like
Miami,
all the big cities.
Yeah,
huh?
because when I was younger, those were the biggest cities. You know, now that the population's really high, you know, you got, you know, well, there's also Chicago's always had the hood there too, you know. But now I'm hearing like, you know, obviously rappers are coming out from a whole bunch of places, so you start to hear more hoods from more spots. You know,
Yeah.
you're always gonna have now you have these pockets all over the place. Maybe they were always there, but it wasn't the higher populations. I'm referring to the higher populations. Those are the main ones I related to, you know, because you know Los Angeles was a very high population.
Yeah, it is.
But you know, then there was that issue, but you know, I kind of got off topic, you know, because I'm going with my personal life. But
no, it's cool.
To go on the
Let's
hip hop.
Let's change it. Let's change it up.
No. It's gonna relate to back to the hip hop because let's see where I was at. I was living in Miami, And like I said, I went through a phase of
How old were you when you were there?
10, 10, 11, 12.
10, 11. Do you
Yeah.
remember it that well?
I remember it. Yeah, I remember it pretty well, man. I had a homie there, man, that he got me into rapping. You know, listening was I had it in my family, and I went through like fuck music for a little bit. Even after I started, it was after, yeah. So I had a homie named Anthony Hopkins, I think was his name. I haven't seen him since then. It was 4th grade, man.
You never looked him up on Facebook?
I tried to find him on Facebook. I couldn't find him, man.
No.
You know, especially now that, you know, people can change. I couldn't tell. Some people have found me though. Some people have messaged me from during that time, like, hey, do you remember me? I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, I got a homie named Alan that, you know, he's kept in contact with me. I've added him, and he's cool.
That's cool, man.
I had another chick. She went to my elementary named Maria. She kept contact. My old girlfriend, my very first girlfriend, got in contact with me. She's already engaged, you know, she's cool. But, you know, like, you know, it's cool to meet up with all your past and shit like that, you know.
Yeah,
but him, I couldn't find him because I was gonna tell him thank you, man. You know, because like
he got you into this shit.
He got me super into this shit.
This thing called underground.
Yeah,
hip-hop.
I was in the 4th grade, and I remember, 5th. We met in the 5th grade. I was with our teacher, Mr. Guillermo.
Guillermo.
He was cool, and I remember being in, I don't know, after school we were just hanging out, and I was the only dude I was kicking it with. It was mostly Hispanic there. It was Hispanic and black. You know, he was black, I was Hispanic, and you always sense a little form of segregation sometimes. You know, you had the middle grounds, but it was like a battle between ballers and rockers and what they would call refs, which are people from Cuba that came on a boat. You know, it's kind of like St. Paisos over here. You know, it's kind of like
refugees.
Yeah, it's kind of like a negative connotation to it, the way they would put it. You know.
Okay.
So
it was frowned upon.
Yeah. So even though it was frowned upon, it was still a category that everybody used. You know. So those were the battles, and he was black, and me being Hispanic, we just kind of had that good like, hey, you know, we don't give a fuck about that shit, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey man, my cousins just got into rapping, like we should start rapping. And I'm like, nah, man, like you gotta be born with that shit, man. You can't just like
you gotta be born rapping.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the way I thought of it. Like Biggie always had it in him. Tupac always had it in him. Yeah. Eminem always had it. I didn't even think, you know, that was our thing, you know. And we started just doing it, man. We were just kind of like this. We just were like, all right, man, let's just do a little freestyle. And it was like 2 sentences, like, yo, today you're gay. You know, and I know it's gonna sound messed up real fast because right away people are gonna start like hating on the gay part. You know,
this is a gay friendly show.
Yeah, man, I'm cool. I'm cool with all gay people, man. You know, it's just all my gay friends know how I use it.
Now we gotta address this.
Yeah, no, now you have now you have to.
Now we have to.
In 2017, you have to. You gotta watch where you step every single time.
You never said what gender you were, dude.
What are you? I'm gonna keep that as a question mark. But you know, yeah, all my homies, all my gay homies are cool. They're cool with me. You know what I mean? Anyway, but you know, I'm just getting past that. Anyways, fucking, you know, it was that kind of thing. And then he'd be like, because of your toes, you a hoe. You know, stupid shit. So I started going home writing more. Come back trying to diss him and shit. You know, and it was just like, all right, man, like you like hot dogs in your mouth, and now you're gonna go down south.
Dang.
You know, shit like that, you know, and I got really, really into it. I started actually wanting to write like a whole
You were battling?
I was kind of bad. I noticed that I could really get into it, and he was like, started kind of falling off on that, right? And like, since we went from the fifth,
he wasn't that good.
No, he just like slowly lost interest. He thought it was just like a phase, but I liked it. I liked it a lot, man. And then I got into, and once I got middle school, the very first, I think, summer that I was there, I got into like a whole fuck hip hop stage, like because I got into punk, I got into rock, and again it was because of the separation. You only choose one side.
Yeah.
I came back to.
I was like that for a bit.
Yeah, so then we came back to Cali, and then I got into Lincoln Park. I started dressing, you know, like the whole thing. I didn't even get into, and it's funny because they have a little bit of rock in there. I mean, rap in them, you know.
I think that's kind of what started getting me into rap, because I started noticing that you can rap over a rock song,
Right,
and
right,
it's
right,
badass.
right, right.
Like you don't have to scream your lungs out.
I ignored it. I was so into like fucking, but I even ignored the fucking Linkin Park rap parts. I got into Slipknot. I got into fucking a little bit of
I love
corn. A
Slipknot,
little bit
dude.
of corn.
It's one of my favorite
My
bands.
dressing. My speech was even different because I was trying to talk like, yo man, yeah, like, yeah, fuck the hip hop
Have
shit,
you ever
man.
seen the picture of when I was in 7th grade with my fucking corn
No,
dreads?
no, no. I'm gonna check that out.
I'm pretty sure I'll look it up while we talk.
But
But shit's funny, dude. You gotta check it out.
But man, I noticed that I couldn't get away from rap, man. I couldn't, like, every time I heard a good song, I'm like, that song is so dope, man. I just so, and it sucked that I had to choose. Eventually, I like was told
Why did
myself,
you feel you had to choose?
because I felt like that was the
That
thing.
was the pressure of
felt
society
yeah,
at the
yeah,
time.
yeah. I felt like if you like rap,
choose.
if you like rap and you like rock, that you weren't true to yourself. Like, oh,
You
pick,
fake.
yeah, you're fake. You gotta pick a
Who was
side.
telling you this?
I don't know. It's just people.
Your
'Cause-
mind?
No, because people were asking me all the time at school, what side? What are you? I'm like, what do you mean? What am I? Are you a baller? Are you a rocker? Are you a nerd? Like, what are you into? Like, that's how they were separated. And you actually had these labels. These were actual labels, and then a lot of the schools that I went to, I'm like, man, like, I don't know what I'm, I like a little bit of everything. So then I told myself, you know what, man, I guess I'm just the weirdo, man. I'm just gonna be that because me being a new student all the time, man, I was always a loner anyways. So I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna like what I like, man. I like rap, I like rock, I like a little bit of everything. And out of all the type of rap, man, I just like the hardest fucking rap. I like that dark shit, I like that gangster shit. I like it all, Eventually, like, I grew more and more, and I like a little bit of everything. I like bumping shit, I like, deep shit. I like poetical shit.
Check that out. Oh shit.
Yeah, I did see that picture. I didn't think it was you.
Yeah, it was me. You can get it if you want.
No,
if you
no, no,
need
no.
to.
That's cool, cool. But
The hose
yeah,
or what?
nah, it's my homie.
Oh, the homie.
It's actually his birthday today.
So you
but-
seen this on there before? You didn't think it's me?
No, I didn't think it was you.
Yeah, it's
By
me.
the way,
dude.
if my homie hears this, man, a big happy birthday to the homie Nico, man. Every birthday I don't get to see him because he goes does his thing, and I'm already kind of planning with my little brother. His birthday was yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, it's hard to be like reaching everybody's.
Yeah, I saw
birthdays.
you shouted him out on Facebook and all that.
Yeah, man. So
His name's Osmandy.
Osmandi, yeah,
Osmandi?
yeah, Osmandi, yeah, same thing. He doesn't like his
Osmandi?
name now. He calls himself Ozzy now. He tells everybody that. He's like, just go by Ozzy. I'm like, why, man? Just because it's like, I guess, not the coolest name in his eyes,
Osmandy.
But eventually, man, like, I got into a little bit of that phase, but you kind of eventually learn to, like,
Wait, is
be
it
proud of
O
yourself.
S
O-Z
O Z
M-A-N-D-Y. Because my name, I go by CI, but my real name's Ozmi. It's spelled O-Z-M-I. And
How did your mom come up with your name?
they
you ever
wanted to
find
combine my name with my brother's name. My brother's Andrew, but short is Andy. And so Osmandy, and it became his name.
Interesting.
So his name's a made up name. My name's kind of a made up name. My name is in
It's
the
pretty
Bible.
unique. I've never heard it.
Yeah, my name is in the Bible. Is originally as Ozni, from the Oznites.
Oh,
It's spelled
okay.
O-Z-N-I, but they swapped my name to an M to be original. So people are always asking me, what they look at my facial features, man, and I guess I got some Middle Eastern, Arabic, stereo. If you're looking from that perspective, whatever,
Yeah, I guess so.
there's like a facial features, whatever. And
they probably just judge because of the facial hair.
yeah. So like, and not just people outside, but I've had Persians or Armenians come up to me like, hey, are you Persian or you Armenian? I'm like, nah, man, I'm my dad's Cuban and my mom's Mexican. I'm Hispanic. So pretty much I feel like a clusterfuck because of my name and looks, because I get it all the time, man. Anybody from the Middle East, I feel like I blend in with them, and they're my peeps, I've actually met a whole bunch of, man, really cool peeps, man. Same thing, I blend in with Hispanic, but they look at my face, look at my name, and just assume it's one thing. And I just kind of got it, growing up. But it's cool, man. It doesn't bother me. It's just something that's just expected with certain things in life. I'm over it, but I still get it. Whatever. As for like my music, man, like During middle school time, it was more like I wrote a lot, just words, trying to get rhymes. High school, I started battling a lot more,
Yep.
and then I met a group during that time called Brainless Intentions, and they were doing music, and that was the first time I actually got involved with actually doing a track, because I was just straight, freestyling and writing. That's all I did, and I couldn't even get on beat, man. I was so used to doing things, a cappella. I couldn't stay on beat. I could not be on beat. They put the track and like get ready to start. Boom, my cue. I couldn't jump in the queue.
Damn.
It was like doing a jump rope. You have to jump in at the right time.
Yeah.
And it's like you got to go
You
fast.
always miss that one.
Otherwise you're gonna miss it. And like I would always miss it. And I'm like, damn, man. And then for a long time I struggled. I was there doing like 100 takes all the time. And they're like, man, you got to get your riding game strong, man. And I just kind of started working on slower beats and trying to stay on point and stay on rhythm. And I was just like, for a long time I was just rapping, just saying rhymes, and I
Yeah.
just never caught a breath. And I didn't know how to compose a song. I just rhymed, and uh, I got introduced to a producer that he like trained me hardcore, man. He's like, hey, you got to do this shit again, half a millisecond off, half a millisecond, too soon or too late. Like you got to do this shit again. So I
Yep.
was like, I gotta be on point, man. But I didn't care. I didn't care for all that because I was always like influenced by Dr. Dre, Eminem, and they always told me Dre's hard in the studio. Like you got to be a soldier. Like I just imagine him like a drill sergeant. You do that shit again. I've heard many stories where he's made people, I guess females cry because he's so hard, but it comes out like he says in an interview, everybody's happy. It comes out like a hit.
Yeah.
So I didn't care. So I was like, I just try to perfect the rhyme to always get it on beat. Eventually, like I'm like, yeah, man, I'm feeling a little bit more of my music, man. I can write a lot better to this,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
so I just kind of just been at it, man.
That's awesome, man.
What's up with you? Like, how did you when did you do your first song?
Shit, when I did my first song, well, I started producing stuff in fucking like freshman year or like sophomore
And
year.
that's just straight producing or
No, like
rapping?
just doing no, not rapping. Like I guess I've kind of written some songs from fucking like early high school years and shit. But that's me and my friends just fucking around, we like write
Right,
shit
right.
down and we would just like rap over songs like beats and shit. Like just fucking around. But I would fuck around with Fruity Loops.
Okay.
So I
FL
started
Studios,
doing
man. That's what
yeah.
we started off with too.
I started just fucking around with that shit, making some beats and stuff, kicking it with that. And then I kind of stopped doing that once I started working. And then I just got like probably like 6 years into my career. I was like, you know what? I can afford this stuff now. Like, there's no reason why I shouldn't go and buy these programs or start investing into this shit. And that's what I did. I just slowly started buying things that I needed and started building my studio from the ground up.
Right.
And now I have what I have.
What was like your first equipment? Just the computer? Or did you
Yeah,
have any-
I had the computer which I got for free. That shit was crazy, man. I made a trade, like with the cell phone. Some kid in the military over in San Diego base was kind of desperate he needed a phone for some reason, so he hit me up. I had it posted on Craigslist. He hit me up, hey, I'll trade you a computer. This model. We looked it up. It seemed legit. He's like, it's brand new, pretty much, and I'll give you some speakers.
You took it?
And so like my brother, he's actually in the military, so I was like, hey, can you take us, because it's in the base. Like he gave us this address and it's inside the base. Like if you come with us, he has like a pass and everything, so it'd be easier to get in.
Right.
So he did. He's like, yeah, I'll take you, no problem. So we went to San Diego. It was like an hour and a half drive to get there to the base. And yeah, dude, it was legit. So I came up on this computer for a fucking phone.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, we had it. I mean, we had a whole bunch of things, man. We had a computer, but we wanted a higher quality audio, and like we didn't know what to invest in, man. We had a whole bunch of options. I found this website online. It's still available. Zounds.com. It's
I don't
the
think I've heard of it.
ZZ like sounds, but with two Z's in the beginning and an
Mm-hmm.
S at the end. And they had this multi-track recorder, and the first time I heard my voice on that, man, I was like, damn, my voice sounds pro, man, 'cause it was high quality shit. And I never heard my voice on that. I'm like, damn, like, we're gonna do some good ass music. So we stood all day just recording music, man. We put trying to figure out how to put the beat inside the machine though was the hardest thing because you had to put the right man, I'm gonna sound so ridiculous because I should know this, like megahertz. What
Mm-hmm.
is it, gigahertz? Is it
No,
kilohertz?
that's megahertz, I
Is it?
believe.
Yeah. And you gotta make sure that's correct. So it was just kind of an issue, but eventually we got it down. We started making a whole bunch of music, and like just like anything, you kind of get excited, and if things don't work out, you fall off a little bit. But I always kept coming back to music, and I tried different products. What else did I have? I have different multi recorders. Now what I use is just the iPad, my Mac or
The
Apple.
Apollo.
Yeah, Apollo. Yeah, that's the interface, but you have to use your Mac. Was it Mac or Apple? I forget.
Apple.
I mean, they eliminated one of the names, right? It's the Apple Store now. Yeah.
It's Apple computer. Like this
And
is the Mac or the Mac Pro.
right, still okay.
The Mac Pro.
Someone recently was saying that they separated names.
Essentially it's the same thing. I think when the old one was Mac, Macintosh, Apple Macintosh, but I think they had to change it technically because of some lawsuit bullshit or
right. See,
something.
And that's what I was like. Now
So they
that,
just made it Apple
yeah, so I didn't know the specifics on that, but
or something like that. I don't
anyways,
know.
For old school people, man, it's the same shit. But for I know that the new age, they're like to correct your ass, make sure that shit's correct.
Yeah, no,
Apple motherfucker.
yeah.
But anyways,
From
it's
my
on my
understanding.
laptop and got a good interface. It's the Apollo Duet 2. That's just dope.
How
man,
much
you
they
know?
cost you?
That one was like $6 originally, but I was able to find it online. Or on the Guitar Center, actually, you can find they have used stuff on their online website.
So you bought it used?
Got it used
For how much?
for 400. Just had some blemishes, man, but it worked. It works good, man. There's no issue.
I was looking into getting the rack version of that.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that?
Like
It's called.
the same thing, but it's like that.
Oh, okay.
It's a rack.
Still interface, right? Yeah.
Yeah, same shit, but it just has more inputs. Like this one has 8. Like I can record a band with that.
Oh, okay.
Like if I have enough inputs to have that many recording going at the same time.
See, I always think too, man, because I always have ideas. It'd be dope if they had like something where you can record on the street, portable. It still has a good sounding microphone and do some like simple editing, but yet you're still able to like choose your what people like is the special effects. You have the
Mhm.
auto tune. You got and I know everybody has their type of opinion about the auto tune. It's not real music, or it is whatever, man. Whatever is your choice. The point being is when I was trying to edit my voice, there's times where I wanted it to sound deep, monster like, or maybe some parts use a little bit of auto tune, and you didn't really have a program that gave you these options. You had to go and create it yourself.
So you like auto-tune?
I don't mind it in music, man. Like I don't care. Like I don't think that you should put it on everything. Like I know people that just like that's their voice now. They use it on everything, but it's an instrument, man. It's a tool.
Yeah.
Go and use it, man. Use it for however if you want to use it. But like I like my shit mixed up. So if you're just only using auto tune, I'm just gonna tune your shit out. But if you have if you didn't have auto tune and you used it one time, I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's different for that person or whatever.
Yeah.
I know who used it. Tech Nine used it in the song Blown Away. He's talking about some of the mainstream cats, but he used auto tune, but he used it to kind of like show that I'm using it in a better way than you were using it.
Yeah.
And he
kind of mock him.
and he doesn't use auto tune. I mean, like I guess all the time. But it doesn't mean that I look at him less because he used it like I know a lot of people do. They're
Yeah.
like out of 10, that's not an real artist. You're not supposed to be doing that. Nah. And I'm like, dude, like I don't know. When I learned my language arts class, man, you had poetical techniques, you had rhyming, that's in rap. You know, you had personification. You know, you have onomatopoeia. You got alliteration. You're using the same letter, each word. Like again, also Tech Nine uses that, or Eminem's done that too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the great artists have done that shit. You know, and it's those are you can use it all the time. Just you use different versions of it. So, like I said, auto tune would be one of those, like, it's a tool. Use it.
Yeah, just use
Just use
it.
that shit. Whatever. I don't give a fuck, man. Just make that shit sound good and original, man. If you sound the same, then my bad, dog. My ears are like getting fucking with a sound blind.
Yeah,
Well, if you stand out, then my ears are gonna be like, oh, you stand out. It's just like that's our sensor. That's my sensor. It's like, okay, cool. My sensor is picking up that this is standing out.
yeah,
So just stand out. That's all. That's my thing. But anyways, with the tools, it was cool being able to use a tool. Like I was always thinking of, like, man, I wish they had like a something that you can record your voice and be able to change your vocal effects, or you keep it natural, do some minor editing and sound dope, just so you can make a cool demo. Because it was so hard to try to make a demo. It's so hard to go pay for people, man. Like, especially
yeah,
in the music game, man. You got people that are real cocky as a motherfucker, but yeah, they're like, you got guys that are really underground that don't have so much experience, but they're like, someone tell them know your worth. They'll charge like $100 an hour, but I'm like, man, I don't like the way you're producing my voice. I don't like the way you're making it sound. And it's just a lot of cocky people that I've dealt with. But if you want to avoid that, and you don't really want to spend that much money, and you don't know so much about producing, that'd be cool to have something to keep it simple and
mm-hmm.
something dope. Because now that's how the stuff that I feel now I have now is real for me. Is real simple to use. It's like, all right, man, I can make my voice sound clear, or if I want to throw some of this effects, it's gonna sound dope on
Yeah.
it.
So you don't worry too much about mixing.
Yeah. I mean, I do, but like I give it to the mixers. That's not my job. I just do like the real minor shit.
So you give them like all the tracks.
No, I just go to their house, they record me, and they use their own tracks. It's a lot easier for a producer to do that.
Mm.
Being in the studio, I've learned to like see it from their point of view too.
Yeah.
And because when you're dealing with transferring files, you're always gonna have a lesser of the file, especially when you have to compress it or make it, versus.
So how do you give them the files? Do you give them to them as so like you'd record this in what program?
Well, like nowadays, man, like the way I do it currently is like if I want to record some higher, because some music I make like at home, and I'll release some of those tracks, and they're not like highest quality, but they sound pretty good, and I just release them because I know how to do some of the minor editing and producing. But if I want a real good sounding track that has like everything really nice and polished, I'll go to their the producer's house. They record me with their equipment, their computer, and they have all the tracks, and they give me a final copy, and then give me a mastered copy if I choose or desire that, or if I want to. They can give me a finalized copy, and I can take it to somebody else to master it. And I didn't know that none of this process again either. Trying to record it, you just like if you're like at the beginning stage, I'm like, I thought I just press the hit record button and that's it, But no, man, if you want to make it sound dope, where the music feels, you can feel the music. Producing does a lot, man. That's why you can feel music. You listen to something, you're like, man, that hit right at that note, and you hit it with the right sound, and it was completely, contrasting to the instrument, and it sounded all unified together. That makes a huge difference. That's why sometimes I feel like producers don't get enough credit, man. They should. They create a lot of these dudes, man.
Yeah.
Producers also have to admit themselves that without a voice,
Yeah.
it's just a beat, and there's nothing wrong with that at certain times, like EDM.
It takes both.
I love EDM, and sometimes EDM doesn't even have vocals, it's just dope beats, but
Yeah.
vocals do a lot, so you gotta give credit to both sides,
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, can't just be one way.
Yeah, definitely.
It takes two.
But yeah, I wish they had, at that time. Like now they have so much technology, man. You got so little bit of everything, man. You can find a whole bunch of random shit anywhere on the net. I found it, on Amazon. I found a microwavable grill.
A microwavable grill. What?
Random, right?
What does that even mean?
The grill you can put in the microwave, man, and it just apparently the way it works is it gets the microwave,
A grill.
transfers it into infrared rays, and that's what's cooking your food.
What the fuck, stupid?
So
That's some dumbass
I
shit.
know, but point being is that you got so much shit available now, man. You could use some random ass shit.
That's
you know?
that's pretty insane.
You want to make your own? Well, they've always had to make your own slushy machine at home and all that. But if you want to print your own underwears now at home, you can probably do some shit like that.
You can do anything nowadays.
Put your mind if you send it to it.
Yeah, man. It's all up to you. It's all up to you.
What are your goals though, man? What are you aiming for, man? What do you want out of everything? To finish off the podcast.
Well, some of my goals in life was
not to sound all deep because I know some people are like, getting all deep, but nah, man. Realistically, man, what are you aiming for?
Well, goal aspect, I just never wanted to fuck up. Like honestly, like once I was out of high school, I kind of just said whatever I'm gonna do 110%, and just keep going and going and go as high as I can.
But you fucked up still in between, huh?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I would say more in the beginning.
That's how you get better. That's how you learn.
I'd say more in the beginning, not be fucking up, just because I was still like being really irresponsible and stuff. But man, it's just honestly like now that I've been in my career, like there's so much stuff I could achieve if I stay in there. That's my career doing fire sprinkler stuff. Like there's a lot of levels that I can reach in that, and I'm like barely getting started really compared to like other people that have been doing it for like 30 years and shit. Like I'm already doing high level shit for the amount of time I've been doing it.
So wait, explain to people exactly what you do. You kind of zoom by that. Since we're talking about it, whoosh, I don't want to throw your personal life, but you're already talking about it. We know if you're okay.
So with it. No, that's cool. So what I do is I design fire sprinkler systems for commercial buildings, anything. I'm a fire sprinkler designer.
So all the sprinklers that we see, you're the blueprinter guy. You don't make them. You don't like construct them yourselves, right? You don't make the pipes, right? You just blueprint where they're going to be located and how long they're going to be.
Yeah, I pretty much design where every single piece of pipe, every sprinkler head is going to go, and how to get the water to those points. Yeah.
So you'll put like this one's going to be 50 feet and it's going to be located from the first floor to the second floor.
Mm-hmm. Like shit like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I design those systems, and like right now I'm working on a big ass project.
If you're like, yo, the pipe should be like fucking, I don't know, 5 inches in diameter, do you choose that? Or you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I perform hydraulic calculations on all these systems.
Okay.
So it gets crazy, dude. Like I'm doing engineering work, but I'm not technically an engineer.
Are you working on like in AutoCAD and shit? Pretty much.
Yeah, I work AutoCAD, and I work with Navisworks, Navis Manage.
I took a year of AutoCAD in high school, but I learned a little bit.
Yeah, dude.
So I fucked around a lot in class too, man. Especially with the teacher.
My last 2 years of high school was AutoCAD based. Like I took architectural drafting in my last 2 years, and I was actually in a competition, and I actually took 13th place. It was like between like 50 schools for drafting.
13th place?
Yeah.
So is that considered good? Like,
yeah.
To some people are like, that man.
I mean, it was out of 50 schools.
Okay.
There was like about 70 students.
So it was like what the top 50 people were like the cool people, like the top dogs.
Yeah, like it was only a couple kids from each school, and I got picked to be one of them.
Oh, nice.
So I actually placed. I was like, oh,
for
shit.
For sure.
It was pretty cool. Like they gave me like some scales and shit like that. Like stupid kind of prizes, really.
Right.
When you think about it.
Yeah, but man, yeah. But as for my goals, man, I'm like, what?
What are your goals?
I just want to keep progressing, man. And that can mean anything, man. Because
that kind of summarizes my point. So progress.
Yeah, because sometimes life throws at you curveballs, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna run with that one.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like to make as much plans, but you try to have like a guideline, So I wanted to for sure do more with music. I want to make more music videos. I just been the type to just be writing all the time, but I'm always dropping singles, and I'm like, I just gotta start dropping my mixtapes. I guess that's the thing now. You drop mixtapes.
Yeah,
It can be an album, but you still call it a mixtape.
it can be anything nowadays.
It's technically a mix CD, but we keep it old school, right? And we keep the mix tape.
It's like a mixed digital track.
Man,
Mixed digital
they
tracks.
actually released a little MP3 thing where you can play your cassettes. It's a small little thing.
What?
Yeah. Again, man, technology.
I must look into this.
Yeah.
I gotta see what's up. But yeah, man. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for today.
For sure, man. This is AK on the air and CI. Next week we're gonna have hopefully one of our own artists that we put
Local.
ROT.